Hello, this is my first post-match analysis for Guilty Gear Strive. Gonna be looking at some of my replays that I've chosen out beforehand to look at and break down, decide my good choices, my bad choices, show off my enemies' good and bad choices, and go from there. Hoping that through this, I can learn more about particular matchups and what I should be doing with my character. Yeah. So the matchups are probably the important one. Well, they're both very important, but you know what I mean. Alright, so I have 3 picked out, so we're going to go through 3. I'm going to do my best to break down the matchup and everything that kind of goes into it, and then we'll jump into the video itself. Alright, so this is the first match we're going to be looking at, Axel versus Kai. It is a very fun match to do. Kai has a lot of tools to get in relatively quickly, and Axel has a lot of tools to keep people out. So the question is, can Kai use his... The question is, who is going to be using their tools better to play at the range they want to? Axel wants to play at a mid-range because he's got very long, fast moves that come out. The downside is that his moves hit at very specific angles, and they take a long time to recover. So if you guess wrong or predict wrong, and the opponent has a opportunity to do big damage on you. So you have to be very careful when choosing what moves to do as Axel. So immediately, I'm going to jump into the air and try and get away so I can create the distance that Axel needs. Kai tries to get in, but I manage to hit him away, and I'm trying to keep him at that distance. I jump up, and I use Jump S, which is a move that kind of hits at a slanted downward angle. And that was a very bad choice for them because Kai was already underneath the angle where that was going to hit. And so that was a very, very bad choice for me. And he was able to use that to get me with anti-air, which did send me far away. So I'm back at neutral. I'm back where I want to be. So it's not a terrible mistake, but enough of those is going to build up over time. And I don't want to keep making that mistake. I try to dash, and I don't know if the Kai predicted if I was going to be air dashing or not, but he did manage to hit me with the flip kick, which crossed me up, and now I'm in a bad situation where I have to wake up right in front of Kai. Kai doesn't have amazing mix-up, but this is the range Kai wants to play at. Really close, because his buttons are going to beat a lot of my buttons up close. I burst because I know that's a bad choice. I know that was a bad spot, so I burst so he could get away from me. And now it's turning a bit into a close-range scramble. I'm constantly jumping in the air, getting him with a jumping H was the move that hits all the way down. Because Kai doesn't have a lot of moves to contest that. He has one move that can contest it fairly well, but it's difficult to input when I'm constantly crossing up the opponent like that. And he currently is pressuring me, so I use the yellow Roman cancel to get him away from me, because I do not want Kai pressuring me. And I try to use the jumping up attack move, but he was a little bit too far away, and he managed to punish me off of it. Now I'm blocking the flip kick, and the flip kick is punishable. However, I was in the air, so I wasn't confident if I could punish it, and I need to lab that for sure. Alright, so he wins round 1, and he's in round 2. He's already close, which is not really good. I jump up, and he reacts to the jump up by immediately anti-airing me. I try to grab him twice. But his jab kind of broke me out of that. I think I probably grabbed too early. He's pressuring me. He uses the red Roman cancel to keep the pressure up high. He does get me with the counter hit, and this is a huge life deficit. And I'm dead. He wins this match. The issue with my play in that game and the strength of his play is that I was never able to establish. I was able to establish distance from us, distance between us, which is good. That's what Axel needs. But I kept making the wrong guesses as to what his approach was. I kept guessing he would take a more roundabout way to get towards me, but he always kept running at me, which threw me off. Because a lot of times when people are playing Axel, they tend to like hang back a little bit because they're waiting for a chance to punish him. But this guy, he rushed in, and it threw me off. And so he made really good decisions in this game that led to his victory. So props to him. We played a lot of games. I think we played 9 games. And I think overall our win-loss ratio was pretty even, although I think he was slightly in favor. I think he had I think I had 4 wins and he had 5. So it was slightly in his favor. But he did really good at adapting towards me for sure. So definitely in the future, I need a lab and see if I can punish the flip kick in the air. And I need to make better decisions. I need to lab to see if I can beat flip kick in the air, like punish it. And I also need to not rely so heavily on jump S, the move that's downward slant move. I need to not rely on that so much because it's becoming muscle memory, and that is creating opportunities for the opponent to play around it and punish me. So I need to think a little more harshly about what I want to do as soon as I get into the air. Alright, so next up is Axel versus Chip Zanav. This is another, like with any Chip matchup, it's a very explosive matchup because Chip's ground game and ground control, not even ground game, just Chip's offense is crazy insane. He's able to do a lot of things that almost no one else in the cast can do. He's just an offense monster, but he has such low health that if the enemy can even get just a few combos on him, he loses the match. So it's a very interesting combo, and this whole matchup is going to be even more interesting than normal because, you know, Axel's really good at keeping people away, and Chip is extremely good at getting in and staying in. So with that in mind, we'll go ahead and we'll keep on going. So immediately this Chip jumps up, instant air dashes, and is going into his spin move. I'm not sure what the input is, but not a terrible idea. That would have hit me at most ranges, but I was crouching at the time, so it was actually went right over me. He lands and then immediately goes into another offense, and I know this, so this is why I jump up, and I'm going to be hitting him with that jump H again. Right there, see? It even hits a little bit behind Axel. It's an extremely good move for when you're in close range scramble. But the landing recovery means I can't combo off it at all. And what I'm trying to do is stagger my pressure to try and catch this Chip off guard. He does hit me, and I burst immediately, which means I don't have a burst anymore. I immediately run up, and what happened was I immediately ran up and grabbed him because it looked like he was waiting to see what my moves were going to be. He was patient. And when you're patient, you're going to get hit by a grab. Alright, so I made the wrong call. I tried to hit him out of the air, but it left me wide open. He tries to go for the overhead, and I do a super. The reason why I chose to do the super right there is because I know Chip's playstyle, especially against Axel. Against any character who can keep Chip out or do high damage, Chip is going to take every opportunity he can to maximize his offense. And so when I woke up right there, when I got off the ground, I already knew he was going to be trying to keep up the offense, which is why I chose a super that had invincibility frames, because it allowed me to slip through his attack and then punish him for a good amount of damage. I keep him at long range, try my best to keep him at long range. I don't want him in close, and I catch him with the surprise swing move. I don't know what it's called. Now the reason why I call it a surprise one is because it is incredibly unsafe on block. So against opponents who kind of know what Axel's about, they normally don't expect it after that long-range move that kind of hits at like a bit of a down angle, because in their head, they're like, oh, that's a bad choice. If I block it, I'll immediately punish him for like a bunch of health. So they don't expect it, which is why I like doing it. They don't expect the dumb choice. I'm trying to get that jump H, but he just, man, a lot of Axel's moves are very high committal. They hit at really, really good angles. They hit on angles that characters are likely to approach from, but because they have a lot of recovery, they're very punishable, and that's what happened right there. I tried to predict where he was coming from, and I mistimed it, and it got me punished. It got not a lot of damage, so overall not a terrible mistake, but this does mean that now Chip is going to be on the offense, which in another way makes it an even worse mistake, because a Chip on the offense is a Chip that's going to hit you a lot. So I try to block and I get hit by another overhead. He goes into a small combo. This Chip is doing really good at hitting me, but not so much confirming for big damage. He's kind of, and that might be because he doesn't have enough meter for a Roman cancel yet, but he's fishing for hits, getting some hits in, doing some minor damage, but then he can't quite do enough to make it really hurt. So now Chip is in the corner against Axel, which is not terrible, because Axel is not like a close range mix-up person. But it doesn't mean that he can't. There's no way for him to go but forward. Alright, so I'm pressuring him in the corner, trying to keep him away. I'm staggering my moves, trying to catch him with a counter. But he Roman cancels and he punishes my move before it hits with a grab. Grabs are 2 frames in this game. And so if you need something that's a fast move to immediately punish the opponent, you can't go wrong with grabs. In fact, grabs are faster than every other attack in the game. The fastest normal takes 3 frames to hit, a grab takes 2. Everyone's grab takes 2, except command grabs. Now he goes for the command grab, speaking of which, and I'm at low health right now. He goes with the overhead, I dodge the overhead and go in for a jump H. I'm trying to fish his attacks. I get him with the Roman cancel. He bursts immediately. He does not want to lose momentum at all, and he gets the kill. This does mean, though, that he's going into the next round without any burst, and because of how late into the game it is, he might not be getting a burst for the rest of the match. So the question is, will he need the burst later on? Let's see. I get him with a low hit, a low fast hit, and he immediately punishes a bit. He also blocks my burst and punishes it. This is a very bad situation for me. In the corner against Chip, I'm doing my best to scramble and get away from there. I get him again with that mid-air slash one, which is the one that goes down. I'm getting him again with that into the swing move. Again, he's not expecting it. I'm also delaying the input for that a little bit to try and catch him off guard a bit. Alright, so I'm running forward. I expected him to jump, and I did not get it. It's another close range scramble, and he hits me, but he's not able to confirm off it again, but he does get the confirm off of that one. The move where Chip jumps into the air and spins down is such a good move in this game. Alright, so this is a really bad situation for me. Wall break, low health. I have some meter, not a lot, but now that Chip broke the wall with me, he's going to be getting a ton of meter, which means he's going to be very, very dangerous coming up soon. Alright, so what I'm trying to do is keep me at a distance. I'm just jumping in the air, throwing moves out, trying to keep him away from me. I barely missed the jump H, and his alpha blade that goes into the air barely misses me. Look what that line is compared to me. That's just a little bit off. But I dodge. I blue Roman cancel. He purples Roman cancel. He did not want to get punished for that one. This Chip is doing everything he can to not get punished. So he blue Roman canceled my Roman cancel, so the slowdown wouldn't affect me. Wouldn't affect himself. I try to catch him with the backward jumping move again. I got him with the jump H again. I run up and I grab. I run up and I grab. No one expects the 2 grab mix up. No one expects the no mix up. And the grabs do a decent amount of damage in this game, so with those 2 grabs, I managed to almost make our health even. I try to catch him. Our moves clash his DP. That DP was invincible, so if it hit me, it probably would have killed me, which is why it was a good idea to not immediately rush him. Alrighty, and I barely win that game. That was a very close game. Me and this Chip did quite a few matches, and he was incredibly good. He was very, very good. I'm glad I was able to win it out at the end, though. Last one is going to be up against a different kind of character again. So we had a balance type character with Kai, a crazy speed offense character with Chip, and now we're going to be looking at a slow, more methodical character with Nagoroyuki. Now, Nagoroyuki might seem like on the surface level, he might have low mobility, but that is not true at all. A lot of his moves send him, he's got a move that sends him flying, like maybe mid-screen, like maybe halfway across the screen, if not half screen, like very close to it. And then to teleport into that move that makes him go like almost half screen, can almost get him across the whole screen like extremely quickly. And so he's not quite as slow as you think. Alright, but I'm again trying to fish hits away. I'm trying to keep him away from me as fast as possible. Nagoroyuki has crazy damage, and Axel takes more damage than the average character. I'm sorry, Emery. Axel takes more damage than the standard character. So his hard-hitting combos are going to be hitting me even harder. So he's in the middle of a teleport right now, which is why he's completely gone from the screen. I'm jumping up because I expected him to attack. Nagoroyuki doesn't have a lot of moves that hit high into the air. He definitely has a few, but he doesn't have a lot. So whenever he gets close, you're going to see me jumping high into the air to try to get out of his range. because one combo from this guy is going to take off like half or even more of my health. He's incredibly damaging. Keeping him away. He jumped up right there, and I knew he was going to jump because we played a few matches already, and so I caught him with the surprise 2S, which hits at a very steep vertical angle. I don't manage to do the combo off it though, which is unfortunate, but you know, it is what it is. I run up and grab, but he backdashes through the grab and then grabs me. He goes for the command grab to try to get rid of his blood gauge, but I jump over and avoided it. I get him with my full screen command grab, and now I have time slow. I'm able to use it though? I don't remember, honestly. Nope. And that is the move that gets him like almost halfway across the screen. It gets him across very fast. It's very good for punishes and all that. But it does add quite a bit to his blood rage. So let's see where it is. He's very close, I think, to berserking. I get him with a grab. I try to catch him. When I do that move where I jump into the air and Axel attacks low, I'm trying to catch wake-up attacks. I'm doing my best to catch wake-up attacks so that way they don't turn the tables on me. And he gets me with a low, but can't get a combo off it, but does get it into the command grab right afterwards. He's got me in the corner, not a good spot. Now, also, Nago has a lot of blood rage right now, which means he might be close to bursting, but it also means his normals are deadly. If they're going to hit further, and they're going to hit faster. So, I'm doing best to scramble. Again, I'm in the air, because he doesn't have a lot of moves to hit there. So, when I'm up there, there's not too much he can do. He has to wait for me to come down, more or less. Oop, got him with... I get him with the purple Roman cancel so he doesn't punish my jumping S, and I get him with that far jumping S move. Get him with the far command grab. Oop, see, that was one of the time where I got punished because of that move's long recovery. It's very negative. He didn't even block it, though, so it wasn't even it was even worse. He gets me with the anti-air while I'm in the air. The anti-air is one thing that can kind of beat that jumping H move. Oh, he gets me the yellow Roman cancel, and I get at him because I do not want him to get a long combo on me. He tries to go for the command grab, but I burst through it, and now that I gold bursted, which is, you know, when the burst color is gold, I have full meter, which means I can do a lot of crazy shit. So let's see if I get to do any crazy shit. I grab him. I go for the Roman cancel combo. I get him with the overhead with that move. That jumping move is an overhead. Oop! I managed to block a lot, but I can't block everything. And I'm very close to death. And he bursts through my super. He blood rages through my super, which cancels it out. He misses the dust, and I get him for the win right there. If that dust had hit me, I definitely would have lost the round. He was just a bit out of range. And that makes me want to highlight one important thing about defense with Axel. This, let me see if I can get a moment. Sometimes when I'm blocking, you'll see this kind of green shield around me. You might, let's see. You might see that kind of green shield around someone, like you saw it around Nago right there. What happens is that if you block using that, it takes up some of your meter. It takes up some of your super meter. But it does push people further back away than they normally otherwise get pushed back. And so, if I use that right before he tried to do dust. Let's see if I can get there. I'll cut this in post. Alright, so right here. So I'm almost dead. I go for the super. And he is so lucky that he had blood rage mode right there, because it goes immediately through my super and it cancels it out. And right here, you're gonna see me use that green shield right there. And it pushes him far enough away that the dust does not hit. So using faultless defense right there saved me. Without that, I would not have won that round. I probably would have lost the round, which means I might have lost the match if he won the next round. And so using faultless defense is very important as Axel, because he doesn't have a lot of other defensive tools. He's got a super that can... He's got a super that can punish like moves if you use it right. But if the opponent knows you're about to do it, they will punish that super, because that super is very punishable. Which means Axel will take a lot of damage. So it was definitely a good choice to use faultless defense right there. So faultless defense is something that you have to get really good with as Axel. Alright, and that was the first breakdown. I really hope it was informative. I did my absolute best. I want to do more of these. I want to get better at this so I can get better at the game, because breaking down your replays is so important.